A night of violence and looting outside Minneapolis after a 20-year-old black man was shot dead during a traffic stop. In just released body cam video, Daunte Wright is shot by a senior female police officer as he tries to drive away, all while being arrested on an outstanding warrant. He crashed several blocks away.
It is my belief that the officer had the intention to deploy their taser, but instead shot Mr. Wright with a single bullet. This appears to me, from what I've viewed and the officer's reaction and distress immediately after, that this was an accidental discharge.
There was raw emotion at the scene of the shooting. The dead man's 2-year-old son, Daunte Jr., was held up to the crowd by a family member. Angry protesters jumped on top of police cars in Brooklyn Center, Minneapolis, until cops moved in to disperse them. His mother said Wright called to tell her he was pulled over because he had an air freshener hanging from a rearview mirror.
A minute later, I called and his girlfriend answered, which was the passenger in the car, and said that he'd been shot. He was only 20 years old and he didn't deserve to be shot and killed like this.
Crowds laid siege to a police precinct and looted dozens of stores until the National Guard was called in and a curfew imposed. President Biden spoke out about the shooting today.
The anger, pain, and trauma that exists in the black community in that environment is real. It's serious and it's consequential, but it will not justify violence and/or looting.
The violence erupted with the city already on edge over the trial of Derek Chauvin, the ex-cop accused of murdering George Floyd.
This couldn't have happened at a worse time. We recognize that this is happening at a time when our community, when all of America, indeed all of the world, is watching.
Chauvin's defense attorney said he's afraid last night's unrest will pressure jurors into returning a guilty verdict.
The emotional response that case creates sets the stage for a jury to say, I'm not going to vote not guilty because I'm concerned about the outcome.
He asked for them to be sequestered, kept at a secure location for the rest of the trial. One juror lives in the neighborhood where the violence erupted, but the judge ruled that sequestering the jury could only serve to frighten them.